This is Drop Tent Media Network.
Seriously, Dad?
Seriously, Dad? Two father comedians out of Philadelphia. Seriously, Dad?
Dad? Seriously?
Dad?
Seriously? Seriously?
Yeah, I wonder if anybody listening has like strategies for having like pulled information gently from your parents, because I'm sure like I said, we all sometimes are trying to like CSI some things that happened before we were, we become archaeologists because it is. And so I don't know if anybody has any ideas of things that have worked for them. Drop them in the comment section. We'd love to hear your stories as well. So, because I think that's what I'm saying. Everybody's got a style, and that's what I thought about. I was talking. I got to be careful when I do jokes or convert stuff to stage, because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. Like my mom for the longest time was like, oh, you outed me. Like I don't talk about, I have all this stuff about like a gay uncle that I have who, is out and proud and all that. But like growing up, it was like you didn't realize that about him. And I realized it's because while their parents were alive, there was no way they were going to flaunt anything, because that would have been too hard for them. So they learned how to like hide that part of themselves. But then I think what happens is you forget how to let it shine again, or you hide, or I think something happens and you get hardened and you put the shell out there. So it's like, it's hard, because I know you want to know more, but like you said, I think you're right. You got to be respectful of them and what it might do to them, bringing some of that stuff out.
And my mom, she's getting older, so I got to be cognizant of that too. Because growing up, I was definitely scared of her, and she's all of maybe like 5 foot barely.
Yeah, that's about right.
But obviously it changes as you get older, because the dynamic changes with everything once you get older and everything. But I talk to her more now than back then, because I used to be kind of resentful because of the things that I thought she did, but then I went to therapy, and it's like, no, you're okay to feel that way, but you have to contextualize like why she did the things that she did. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then it's like, oh, okay, so she had to go about this because, one, she was mostly by herself, and there was really no time to really sit down and try to explain like her actions and things like that. She didn't really have time. She was working all the time.
She was just reacting. She was just trying to live.
Yeah, just doing what she could. So
that's such an important realization, because I think we get so wrapped in and like from ourselves and our own, like, well, I feel this way and this was done to me. I know I had a lot of that kind of resentment myself with my dad stuff, like, oh, he left, he's not, and then you're like, oh, now I understand. Now we have a relationship now, and I'm like, oh, I understand now. And it takes a while, and then a lot of therapy to get through that, because you're right, that is so important. And now, how does she like being a grandma? Were you the first, or does your sister have any kids?
My sister was actually the first to have a kid. My little nephew, that little runt, I love that kid. But then I came and had my daughter. So she has two grandkids right now.
How is she loving the grandma life? Do you see a difference in her as a grandma than
Of
she
course.
was? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I was like, I look at my mom sometimes. I'm like, who is this woman? Like, you don't even know. If they go over her house, all of a sudden they don't know what a vegetable is anime. I'm like, how is that a thing?
It's like night and day, man. Night and day. She's so loving to her, which I appreciate. But every now and then I'm like, man, you don't even know. You don't even know.
Yeah, right. The cycle of those things is just, it's so funny to watch, and you're like, you hypocrite, like, what happened? You've changed, and that's true, and that's what's happening. It's a different role. It's a different role. And now you a young parent, right? 3 of 3-year-old, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
how's life changed for you in the last 3 years? Would you say, or 4 years?
Just more so the time management stuff was the biggest thing. And then you have to have that level of communication, because if you're not on the same page, it can go south real quick with.
Now, and you're married to your
Mm-hmm.
so
yeah,
like
married,
you. How long have you been married?
6 years, 7 years this year.
Oh wow! So then you waited, like it was almost 4 years into your marriage before.
Yeah. So the funny thing about that was when we got married, my uncle, he was I would say I get a lot of, I can't believe I'm going to say this because he's going to watch this. I get a lot of my comedic persona from him.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that. Now you're gonna be like, oh yeah,
Now he's gonna be like, I'm the man. That's right.
He's
You
funny
want
because
10%.
of me.
Yeah.
But he was like he gave us the card for with the money and all that. But he would always have a joke and everything. He had some condoms with it too, and he'd be like, hey, wait as long as you can. There's no rush. And not even like a year. It's like, all right, where are your kids at? It's like, yo, you told us no rush.
Right? Isn't that funny how people do that? They like sign. We had somebody like signing like a petition at like our wedding of like, oh, when are we getting grandkids? Like, is that ever settled down? Because like a lot of times when the wedding happens, because it's a shotgun wedding, and they like, all of a sudden 7 months later that baby pops out, and you're like, oh, I see what happened there. But I'm happy that we waited. We didn't wait. I wish we had waited maybe 4 or 5 years, but we were like maybe. 3 years, and our married 2 years, and then you're right, because you're like, well, we're just figuring out who we are as a team, as a people, and now all of a sudden there's 2 others now, and it's like it's great. It obviously puts strain on any relationship. So I had a high school teacher who said he waited till they were like 8 years of marriage before. I'm like, well, it's because they want to have their own life first. That makes sense.
It sounds about right. Yeah, with the waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I saw an interview with Bill Burr where I think his kid is, I think he has like a 4 and a 6-year-old or something like that.
And he's in an interracial marriage, right? His wife's black, I believe.
Yeah, and he's in his 50s, I believe. And it's like, yeah, that's normal for what you guys. You wait as long as you can,
as possible.
because you live until you're like 70, 80 years old. So,
dude, and he was so good in that the Old Dads or whatever. Did you see that he did a movie calling Old Dads on Netflix, which is hysterical, and it's probably a lot of resonated for him as being an older dad. But yeah, it's funny to. You see a lot of, I think, that older white dads especially.
Yeah, I want to watch his special because I heard it's
I've heard good things too. Yeah, that's awesome. So now, you're all right. So you're a young dad. So you're still like, in terms of the parenting, it's more of like keep them alive mode and let them like explore. You don't have anything like heavy going on.
No, she's starting to get like a routine going with getting up, brushing teeth.
Yeah,
breakfast type of thing. She looks forward to stuff like that.
The potty training. We out of diapers yet?
Oh, we've been out of
That's
diapers.
great.
Yeah.
My oldest, she was a bear, especially with the sensory stuff. She took 6. I think she was almost 6. It was so my younger daughter was like on the typical 18 months to 2 years, but. Man, like I remember we drove around with a potty forever because she had to live our life in like 15-minute because she had to keep putting her on the potty until she realized it was like, oh, I don't miss those days. But now it's so nice and they like, buckled themselves in. Like you're so buckling in. But mine now, like they're off the booster seats even. They're like able to stay in the back and just buckle now. And I'm like, oh man, all this. I don't have to change. Anytime we go somewhere, you got to like pop a car seat in somewhere. And we just started buying the bases of the model we had and just put it in all the in-laws' cars. So it was just there and ready,
She's getting smarter by the day, man. That one thing that I want to make sure that she experiences, and most kids need to experience, is like some sort of like struggle. Because at least especially with the social media parenting nowadays, where they like, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. So
gentle parenting.
Yeah, gentle parenting. That's a trigger word for me. It really is. I mean, you obviously can't do what stuff that like my mom used to do. Obviously, like there's levels to it, but to say that you just have to coddle your kids. Like, nah, you can't.
Yeah, there's a difference between coddling and the wooden spoon. We just got to find like that.
Yeah, you got to because for the most part, kids today they'll listen, and you have to figure out that their ticks. Like, what are they taking well to? Like, and you have to do a lot of self-reflection. It's like, okay, am I doing actually working? Do I need to adjust? Stuff like that. But my biggest thing is technology. Like, she has to struggle with technology because that's what I had to do growing up. And like I remember growing up with the Game Boy on road trips, and I would hate when it'd be at night because you couldn't see anything.
Couldn't see it,
and
yeah.
You had to wait for the street lights. It's like, oh, I can see. Oh, nope, and
Yep.
stuff like that. So So she gets tablet time, but she has one of the older ones, like those old Fire.
That's what we have. Yeah,
tablets.
they call them iPads. I was like, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Call it. Yeah, that's an iPad. But just guiding her through that, and I can sense, and she's already like exploring everything, trying to figure out how to see what other stuff is going on with it, and it's like kind of.
That's it. The exploration period. That's what's so fun. You know, that's what kids like. They're just in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to let them explore all of that. But I like that you're giving them conflict. Because I worry about that with my kids too. Like I went to so many different schools as a kid. They're going to go to the same school. I was like, I want them to find their own struggles and their own. Because you're right. If we plow the road ahead of them, what do we? Smooth seas don't make great sailors.
Yeah. And with I don't know if my mom knew what she was doing, but what she did obviously worked because I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. I owe that a lot to her and my dad too. But in reflecting and seeing like what she did, and I'm remembering certain things like, oh, okay, I don't know if she knew she.
Yeah, was
doing
that a
it that
conscious
way.
choice? Yeah, that makes sense. Because you're right. Like it's like Psych 100. It's like Psych 100 stuff, like nature versus nurture. How much was just the nature of the vacuum you were in at that time, what was going on in there versus how much of that environment was curated for you. But in the end of the day, like I think that's what makes, even though we're all humans and we're all people, that's what makes us give our own imprint is the timing of things and the where and the how things were. I mean, I wouldn't change anything, and I know half of the stuff couldn't have been planned or curated that way, but things worked out for me in a way that I couldn't duplicate, but at the same time I wouldn't have changed. So it's like, and it's I same with my daughter, like, even my neurodivergent one, like I wouldn't change if Morpheus showed up with 2 bills and says, well, if you take this one, it'll go back and she'll go back into the cycle and be like, she never had that. I was like, no, that's who she is to me. That's it's a beautiful thing. I don't want to mess with that. That's, I don't want to, I think there's something about we all kind of come out at the time we come out for the reason, like.
Yeah, and sharing with other parents, parents you trust, is the key as far as like what your experiences are and stuff like that. I have some good friends where their kid is autistic as well. So like you said, with the taking longer with the potty training, they went through the same thing with their kid. So they have 2 boys, and one isn't on the spectrum, one is. So the one that is, they have to deal with additional things,
Absolutely.
So whenever I'm online on like PS5 talking to them, and they'll be like, yeah, we went through this and this the other day. I was like, oh, are you guys okay? And it's like, oh yeah, we've been through way worse. It's like, oh man, I couldn't imagine going through that with you guys. But then they'll say the same thing with us, like, yeah, she did this today, and maybe you just had to deal with it. It's like, oh, we couldn't imagine going through that. It's like, I honestly don't know what I would do if what you guys went through with us, because I don't be able to deal with that. So
yeah, you need people that you can share. Actually, I just had dinner. I love breakfast on Thursday with a woman who our kids were both in the same autistic support room when they were like 3, and now they're 11. So it's been like it's like a beautiful 8-year relay, and they all do the same. We are in the same. We tell each other when we find stuff, or there's like, oh, Please Touch Museum was free on Sundays once a month, and we share back and forth stuff, or sometimes we go together. So her and I had a chance to catch up, and you need someone that you can kind of unload that's not directly involved, that you can like unload on to bear that, because you realize that, because their son didn't talk for the longest time, like he was like maybe 6 or maybe like 8 or 9 before he said his first words. They thought he was never going to talk. And then all of a sudden now talks up a storm. And Alicia, and that's how they met. They were both in a nonverbal room. And then all of a sudden Alicia started talking. And then I kind of felt guilt for a while, because I'm like, oh, their son wasn't talking. And it's just, but over time it's like, it was nice for us, because we were always very supportive of each other. So it was, that's, you need people like that in your life to talk about, because there's stuff that I remember during the pandemic. I was telling them we had to take shifts staying up at night, because Alicia would like sneak out of the window in her bedroom. So it's do we lock the bedroom windows? We'd say, well, it's probably more likely she's going to sneak out than a fire would get there. It's like you're like weighing those kind of options. So we're like, all right, between me, my mom, and Amanda, we all just took shifts of who was staying up that night to make sure she didn't sneak out. And it's just like, And it was like, in the moment, I can laugh about it now, but in the moment, it was just like, this is crazy. Like, how can I not get through to this child that she had no healthy fear of danger? It's like, and it's just, we all deal with stuff. And I think that's why Albert and I started doing this podcast for a while, because we were like, oh, there's just no space where people are just talking about those things. We're all experiencing them, but we're like, oh yeah, we're going to pretend like that doesn't happen. And that's when you get all the scenarios we were talking about earlier with, and now you got your kids trying to put together puzzle pieces. That's what I'm trying to do now, is I try to be as transparent as possible. So when it comes to like discipline and some of those things, I just try to talk them through what they did and the consequence and what we're trying to do here. And that's the only way I can feel like to do, because you can't muscle them. Like, we're not in a world where we're not savages anymore, but I also don't want to do everything for them. So we want to make sure that they understand why.
And there's certain things that you're not going to understand until you get older. There's still some stuff that I remember from my mom and my dad and what they told me, and then stuff that's clicking as I get older, especially having my daughter now. It's like, oh, that's what they meant. Oh, this is what they said this was going to be. Or that's starting to happen now with a lot of my experiences with them. So it's been interesting to go through that too. Real fun.
I was just curious, because I know you mentioned some of the way your mom was doing it, but it felt like I was just wondering what specifically, because we're talking about the strife and stuff that kids need to go through, or like the ones that we know we want them to experience life. Like what's the biggest disparity that from your mom and what you learned? Because you're a good dude. You say yourself, you're like, I came out pretty great.
So my mom taught me to be very respectful. Now it was to a fault too. So I didn't really speak up for myself growing up, because I was too scared to, because I didn't want to confront my mom. So because of that, that's how I got bullied all the time. Didn't really speak up. But then a turn happened where I started to be more vocal. I think this was around high school, when I started to be more social and stuff like that. Because my parents won't tell me this to my face. They were concerned for me growing up, very concerned, because I was very reserved, didn't want to do much, things like that. But the high school, I kind of like opened up, and then college, forget about it. It was, I went nuts my freshman year. Yeah, man.
Partying hard.
Yeah, it was. So
that's what happens at some point. You all bottles up, and you gotta sow your oats out there.
Yeah. So that was the most learning experience, I would say, was college. But my mom she just wanted to. I wouldn't say she wanted to keep me in a bubble. I used to make jokes about that, like it was Bubble Boys based after my life, but she was just scared because, I'm her baby, so she didn't want me to really do much or go out anything. I didn't really do anything until like late in high school. I went to my junior and senior prom, but I wasn't out in any parties with anybody. But my senior prom, when I would try to hit up everybody within high school, was like, hey, where's the party? And they respond like, why do you want to come to a party? Because that's how I was known back then, as the kid who didn't really do anything. I played sports and everything, but I didn't like, and that's the other thing with, they call it peaking in high school.
Yeah.
They say that can happen. So I guess in hindsight, that it's good that didn't happen with me back then, because who knows how different things would be now. It's just certain things I think about, but
yeah.
It's worked out in the end.
Well, yeah, because if you start things too early, then all sorts of things can happen, then you really shut a lot of doors for yourself. I think that's what anybody says. You wait that's why the age limits we have on certain stuff. Because like, listen, live your life first. Don't shut these doors for yourself off the bat, because you are, think of it like a million doors open, and the minute you start making decisions, have that cigarette at 14, start drinking, all of a sudden doors just start slamming that you didn't even know were ever open. So I get that. I want to put the best foot forward. So that's what's on your wife. How does she match your vibe? Are you guys like very similar?
So she was one of 6 siblings growing up. So she's experienced a lot.
Yeah. Does she have any tendencies like of your mom? Do you see like things that your mom would have done that your wife's doing, or are they complete opposites?
So that kind of scared me in the beginning when we had our kid, and then she started to act like my mom a little bit. And I was like, oh no, but it was because she was just being that nurturing parent, and we just had to communicate as far as what we're looking to do and things like that. But that was in the early stages. I was like, oh man, I'm in for it here. This is this is a whole new thing for me. But it's worked out, and I appreciate her for sure, because she's the smart one. I will say that. She has the
They always are.
degrees. She is looking to achieve more within her life and things like that. And I definitely aspire to be what she is, because she's doing a lot.
Well,
Does a lot.
that's why we all need someone that's like our opposite, that like pushes us to be a better version of ourselves. I think that my wife too, with the emotional intelligence she has, or watch her deal with our daughters. You know, it helps. I like try to follow suit, or take, be my own person when I'm doing things that I think. But at the same time, I've learned a lot about how to have a conversation so that you're using the right kind of words to keep the message that she's at school the same, or keep the message, so that they learn it faster if everybody's kind of using the same verbiage. So I found like I was using my wife a lot to understand, because I didn't have any siblings growing up, so I didn't know what it was like to be and I wasn't around other kids. Like all my parents' friends back then, like gay people didn't have kids unless it was a scenario like mine where they had a previous relationship and then came out. So like I wasn't around other kids, so I don't have a compass for any of this. So had to really
Statistically
look to her.
speaking, like your wrist should have been a little more bent.
You're right. Yeah, exactly right. That's what I was. I'm like, I'm not gay enough and I'm not straight enough. I'm just in the middle. But yeah, I was around like basically like Nathan Lane and Robin Williams, like from Birdcage. Like they had friends in Forest City that their whole house would look like that, with like marble and like pianos, and it was very, very artsy, and it was fun. It was like very fun, but it was very mature. So like to sit down and play with a kid was not something I did or had younger, cousins or anything around. So as for me, it's a whole new world, and my wife's like one of three. So I'm so grateful. That's why, like we were talking about TV shows earlier, I was watching those TV shows to kind of like get an idea of what all of that looked like. Because that's, I don't know. Did you watch, what were your favorite TV shows growing up?
Mostly cartoons. A lot of
Which
old,
cartoons are we talking? What are we?
the
Looney Tunes or?
Looney Tunes is a big one. I play that for my daughter. She loves Tom and Jerry.
Nice.
Those old school stuff.
Like Boomerang has all the old ones on it.
Yeah, it makes me feel old though, because the when they put the shows on there, it's like, oh, these are the old shows now. It's like,
That's right. Yeah, what Nick at Night used to be, like we used to be Nickelodeon, Nick at Night, and now what was on Nickelodeon?
I used to hate Nick at Night because I knew that it was bedtime.
Yeah, that's right. At Car 54, where are you? I'd be at my grandparents, and like they would watch a lot of that, and so it was so I could always tell, like all of a sudden the shows were black and white, it's just like, and we used to be the TV. I don't know if you remember this, but I don't know how much younger you are than I am, but the TV just shut off, or like the bars, like the screen would just go to snow, or because it was like there's no more programming for the day.
It was, I'm not that old, but
All right. I walked into that one.
but with the Nick at Night stuff, I didn't appreciate, obviously, because I was a kid. But watching those old shows now, it's like, oh, this is. I wish I would have paid attention to this when I was young, because I just wanted to watch cartoons as a kid.
Yeah.
So it was all the old Powerpuff Girls and Courage the Cowardly Dog and all that stuff. Which, looking back, it's not really for kids.
Some of that didn't age well. It's like, some of that didn't age well. I was like, Dr. Seuss had a few books that had like some not so nice characters in them, or now you couldn't get away with, or even Looney Tunes with like, what was it, Speedy Gonzales, and a lot of those different pieces where you're like, all right, that couldn't play today.
We're watching some of the old stuff, and it's like, maybe we will come back to this later.
Yeah, my wife started showing her Boy Meets World.
Oh,
I loved that growing up. That was another one that was like, and it was based around Philadelphia. We had a guy on the program was a comedian. I don't know if you ever run into Steve Young.
mm-hmm.
He wrote for Boy Meets World.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, it was so fascinating, because I'm like, oh, it's one of my favorite shows. And I remember them they did a spinoff, I think recently. It was supposed to be his daughter, Girl Meets World, or whatever. I never watched that, but the original.
Nice. And my wife, she's more of a Disney girl, so she watched all the the old reality. I want to say reality show, scripted shows back then.
Okay, like the Miranda Cosgroves of the world and like the Hannah Montana stuff.
Yeah, I think she was. That's So Raven was
That's
her
So
biggest
Raven.
one. Yeah, she loves.
I remember watching Raven Simone when she was on the Cosby Show as like the youngest. What was her name? I can't even think of her name on that, but she was. I think the oldest daughter was in a relationship with a guy, and that was his daughter, and like she married into it at some point. I remember the storyline because again, anytime it was a storyline that was like a little non-traditional, I was like semi-representation of what I felt.
She was Olivia.
Okay.
Raven Simone played Olivia.
Olivia,
Cosby
that's
Show.
right. Yes. Yeah.
Olivia Kendall.
Man, how different she is. I was just watching a clip of one of her podcasts she does with her wife. And I was just like, wow, like I'd never imagined, you grow up seeing someone. It's got to be hard for actors when you get typecast as something and they see you that way. And then all of a sudden you spend your whole life now trying to break out of that character.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better now with the kids coming out. They're more prepared for a lot of that stuff now.
Producer and friend Neil Wood here. Brief commercial break. Hey, how you doing? This is Neil Wood, one of the co-owners of Drop 10 Media Network and who helps run Biggest Little Comedy. You can check out all the other stuff we do at drop10.com. We've got podcasts, live comedy shows, and so much more. Go over there, support your favorite podcast, follow them, subscribe. We appreciate it. Again, we're 100% DIY. Just a bunch of creatives trying to make it in this. Give us some feedback. We always enjoy a little feedback. Thanks.
Seriously, Dad? Seriously?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better now with the kids coming out. They're more prepared for a lot of that stuff now.
I don't know, man. This baby Gronk thing. Can we talk about Baby Gronk for a second?
What's
You
that?
seen this baby Gronk kid, Miguel Sand something? Like, what rage bait this is for me. Can I just tell you how many times I've half written comments and just not hit send? Like, I can't. This kid's got apparently like 60,000 worth of diamonds in his teeth. He can't talk properly. And he's got like 560,000 followers, probably a million on TikTok.
He's gonna be like that one kid who bodybuilt. He was a bodybuilder.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Man.
It's like
This poor kid.
Hercules.
Yeah.
It's like Kid Hercules. Yeah, he just had like a, I think it was a growth. I can't remember what that.
Can you go to his Instagram and play there's one of the newest ones, and I know this and I hate myself for knowing it. But it's about him getting in a Cybertruck and thanking Elon. And it's one of the most recent Instagram posts that he had. But it's just him, like he just has these videos and it's like, I don't know. It's just for me, it's just complete rage bait. And there it is. I think that's it. He says, it's this kid's voice. Wait till you hear this voice.
Oh, yeah. Let me make sure everything's running here.
But like, he's like, and his hair, it's like this mullet thing. And I thought he was one of Gronk's kids for the longest time. I didn't realize they were just calling him because he's like a beast. I guess his size for being a fifth grader is big.
And because he's a minor, his parents probably control all.
But that's what I'm saying. Like his parent, like is this really his idea? Like,
no.
How much, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then there's another group we're going to look at after these guys. But like, if you go and watch this, it's like, you're just listening to them talking. You're like, dude, what are you saying? And why are you saying it? Like, you could be doing so many things right now. And this is what you're doing, talking about getting in a Cybertruck that you can't even drive and that you paid $1 million for it. Like, what am I supposed to be impressed? Like, what? Like, there's people that are out here trying to cure cancer. All right, baby Gronk, like, what are you talking? Go do your math homework. All right.
It'll probably come out later how he regrets a lot of stuff. A lot of those kids end up coming out later and saying that we were forced to do this.
That's what I mean. Like, so I watched Dance Moms on purpose, and now like I'll look at some of the girls because it was on Disney Plus. That's how I found it, and so I was watching it and. Because my daughters were big into JoJo Siwa, and I'm like, where did this girl come from? And then so I started watching the season where she was on that show. I guess that's how she kind of came into the limelight. And then I just kept watching it because I was just fascinated. And then you watch how JoJo's in the media now and some of these others, I was looking them up and you could see them like talking about how hard it was. They did a reunion show and a bunch wouldn't even come.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you're like, wow, how much was the parents' decision to make these people?
That culture is
All right, let's listen to what Baby Gronk
Oh,
has
we
to
got
say.
it. All right.
Yeah. Well, I just want to
Listen to
make
this
sure the
guy.
sound
Just listen to him.
doesn't blow everything out. But
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Let's see.
I just spent $1 million on this.
Thank you, Elon. I just spent $1 million. How are you thanking Elon? Don't thank the guy that just charged you $1 million for a Cybertruck, first of all. And it doesn't cost $1 million because I'm seeing too many of them out there. I
see
passed
a
like
lot.
3 on my way here.
Yeah, I see a lot more now. I'm not a fan of those at all. But my dad did get the car. I don't remember what model.
One of the
it
Teslas
is.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I give me an Amish Tesla. Just give me a carriage and a horse and we'll be fine. Charge it up with some hay.
Yeah,
But like,
pretty wild.
but this kid, like, I just don't understand. So it's obviously the parents.
No, he'll grow up healthy. With
They're
a
making a
decent
ton of
perspective.
money. So they're just like, well,
He'll be
we don't,
fine.
yeah, we don't, yeah,
He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be okay.
Like,
You
it's
can
like a
tell.
money grab, right? Because even you listen to the Big Justice, Big Justice,
Mm.
the Costco guys. You don't know about the Costco
Oh my
guys?
God, yeah, that's right. I think
So-
I'm not- yeah, you gave us a little bit because I didn't know about these guys.
Big
either.
Justice
Yeah.
is the name of the kid. He calls himself Big Justice. AJ's his dad, so it's Big Justice and AJ. And they made these videos about them. We're Costco guys. Of course we like to try out the furniture. We're Costco guys. Of course we have to get a double chocolate cookie and a chicken bake. And like it caught on. And now they just did a video. They just did a podcast where I guess Big Justice's mom retired. She's their full-time manager, but he jokes like she went from a job where she worked 8 hours a day to now working 15 hours a day because they just fly them around everywhere and they do collabs with businesses
Yeah.
because they have so many followers and then they get they're monetized
They
and they do the boomer doom. I'll give it 5 big booms. I kid you not, I referenced this in my 8th period class, and my 8th period class is a rough class because at the end of the day, it's like grape room at like midnight. You're going up, nobody's listening. Half them are in the bathroom vaping, and like. But I said something. I was like, "Hey, I give that 5 big booms," and they lost their mind. Like they were so engaged. They're all going boom, boom. And they were like listening to me for the first time. So I'm like, oh my God, do I really have to like put in brain rot just to get them to like listen? I heard the one kid audibly say, whoa, I like Spanish class now. It's like when you tell a joke and you can hear somebody say, that was a good one. I'm like, no. Yeah, it's the one you hate. You don't want to hear that.
It's the one you barely thought about or cared about.
But and then I have another one. I'll troll this kid because the rage bait in me. I can't keep myself. Cousin Angelo is a spin-off of Big Justice and AJ.
So
He's not even their cousin, first off.
The only reason not a Big Justice thing because they were on this wrestling thing called AEW.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I know.
Yes, because he used to do he played football at some point too, a bit like AJ did or whatever. But Cousin Angelo, and he has this dumb dance he does, and he just collabs with people and does like food reviews. Like he goes to these food places, and he only has like 10,000 followers. I don't understand how he keeps showing up on our feed.
Yeah.
And he only has like 10,000 followers, but I see him all the time. I don't follow him, but they know I'm watching his stuff, so they keep sending it to me.
Right. You always worry about the longevity of stuff like this,
But it's just like, what?
but the advertisers don't care.
Oh, he has 112 now?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He put the time in. He does these dances. He's like, and it's so bad. With salami and provolone. I hate
my
you,
cousins,
Angelo.
my younger cousins do all that dance stuff with their TikTok. So we'll have family dinners and stuff, and they'll go off and then put their phone up and just start doing whatever's trending and all that. It's like, oh man.
The worst I've seen, the one that I couldn't stop from sending comments to, and they responded back and roasted me in a comment, was this guy. I think they're called conservative kids. They call themselves conservative kids. The name of the tag is GS. Let me see if I can find them. It's some podcast. And so this guy is it's My GSD Nation. And it's these kids that do a podcast with their dad, but it's all them making rage bait videos about being a conservative. I'm a conservative kid. Of course I believe in inflation and stuff that this kid would never say.
They don't even know what they're saying.
They have no idea what they're saying. It's dude, you would not pick to do this. And it's just like, go outside and climb a tree, my guy.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was like,
You
what
would want him to climb a tree, you liberal cuck. Trees are meant to be cut down and made into buildings and boats.
Dude, it's just like he's having a thing about tariffs. He's like, the kid's trying to explain what a tariff is. And everyone in the comments just like, it's just rage bait. Like, it's just.
I just knew it would play.
And I am like, I can't stop. I just get so mad when I see it because I'm like, this kid.
Man, you're revealing so much to me today.
Yeah,
with all this
sometimes
stuff.
we learn stuff and we didn't want to. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely didn't know these kids existed and stuff like that. I mean, of course, like the conservative thing, I was like, well, yeah, if you could do it. Some parent out there was like, we're going to get so many followers.
It's like, it's just one of those things. Like, are you selling your soul to the devil a little bit? You know, like, is it too much?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, all right, well, we'll do this. It'll make money. But like apparently Big Justice, he can't even go to school. They had to pull him out of school and get homeschooled.
Of course. Yeah.
Because he said the public school principal was like, we can't. Like, people are like going up to him and trying to get photos with him nonstop all day in the hallways. Like, he just couldn't go to school. I wonder what Baby Gronk does. I wonder if Baby Gronk's in school.
I wouldn't imagine.
Like, what kind of a...
Because there's a way you can go about that. Because one of my cousins, she's a DJ Sophia Rocks. She DJs at the Garden, Madison Square Garden for the Knicks, and then she does like birthdays for Jamie Foxx and famous celebrities' kids and all that. But she goes to public school, and she lives mostly a normal life. But obviously, it's not the normal. Isn't going out with the celebrities and things like that. But they keep her pretty grounded, and she's a cool kid too. So I'm pretty sure, they can do a lot better than those kids.
I'm still like I couldn't
kids.
even. I almost couldn't listen to you because my blood pressure is at a level where I think I need to go get checked. Like I'm serious. I get so angry. This cousin Angelo, these conservative kids. I kind of like Big Justice, so he's cool. But like. Because I've heard him talk on podcasts, and he sounds like a normal kid. He sounds like he's able to deal, and he's still doing sports, and he gets how cool all of this is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get that vibe from these conservative kids. I don't get that vibe from Baby Gronk, and obviously the parents, but like the fact that people are consuming this, the fact that there are 568,000 people that were like, I'm going to follow this kid. Yeah. And I guess they're saying, well, hey, now people are going to be looking at him. So as a fifth grader, he already is going to have people keeping an eye on him. But what pressure you're putting on an 11-year-old kid? Yeah, man. And he does these dumb videos where he's like, "Oh, I rizzed up Olivia Dunn," and I'm like, you're never going. Like, you should automatically never get accepted to any college if you've said that at any point in your life.
I don't even know what I love when you're quoting a kid who's saying something that is internet speak that I don't even know what you're talking about.
I rizzed up Lizzie Dunn. So he talked so much game that he got her to like him. And then I'm like, well, they didn't have sex. Like, you said, what are you trying to insinuate? You had sex with this like world gymnast who like, I think is actually with the Pirates pitcher Paul Skeens, who's like this phenom, like major league pitcher. But I'm like, what are you doing? Kid can't even talk. He's got a mouthful of diamonds.
Yeah, you gotta understand that Olivia Dunn is the sexiest woman out there, and I read her up.
Yeah, I was like, how did she even understand? She was probably mesmerized because she couldn't understand what you were saying. God, I'm so mad. All right,
it's gotta be a weird day for her PR team. Yeah, just like, hey, no big deal, but on TikTok, this one kid who's got a bunch of followers is talking to you and kind of wants to hook up. I don't know what you're into.
Yeah.
There's a 12-year-old boy who would really love to raise you up.
Yeah, right. He's like, and
sorry.
and then come over here. Chris Hansen wants to have a chat with you.
Yeah, we got to get like a Chris Hansen kid who's like doing the reverse of just like, you know what I mean? Come in and sit down. So it turns out you're trying to talk about fiscal conservativeness on TikTok.
That's what these kids are. These kids can't. They got it. Yeah, I can't.
I don't want to listen to adults.
How do you deal with your kids in social media? Are they
my own children?
Yeah.
So it's hard now because like the first segue into it they have is Roblox. And so like so you can like chat in there, and so they're sort of exposed to it there. So it's like, luckily Alicia is like around us in it. So like I can hear if she's like saying stuff or talking to, I mean, we keep it so that she can't I thought we had it so that she couldn't chat with people. So then you're looking at, because I don't know, I want her giving her information.
Yeah.
You know, so that scares me. They don't have any social media profiles. Part of me doesn't want to allow it till she's like at least a junior or senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Even
that's hard to do nowadays.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I get it. I think with Alicia it'll be easier, but I know Alicia's like, she's really into like reading graphic novels about being a teenager and then trying to apply those things because she thinks that that's what she should want to do.
Yeah, which is normal, yeah.
Which is normal stuff. So it's like, part of me is like, it's adorable, but then like she's always walking around like, you can hear her like scripting, like she's an actress, like getting ready for the big audition, and she's just always repeating these lines back in her head. But like, yeah, I don't know how we're gonna hold off on that. My wife and I haven't talked too much. My wife's pretty good. She was raised pretty conservatively, so I could see her putting the foot down too on it. And I'm never gonna be the one to say, yeah, totally, just get it. Yeah. I'm gonna be very apprehensive about it, but I understand it's a tool that I use for work, so it's like.
I went through phases. I was the early adopter back when Facebook was cool. I'll say it. Back when Facebook was...
Facebook originally was only in colleges. I was one of the first ones because I was one of the colleges that were in the network.
Yeah. And then they let it out to everyone else. And then that's when, the millennials got into it, and then we were using it and it was cool. But then with anything, it brings out the worst in people a lot of the time. So that was, and then the parents invaded, and then it just went to crap after that.
Well, but nobody was. So I guess what I take solace in when I'm like, you know what, I can't vet everything. You just can't. You drive yourself nuts. So what do you give them? Nothing. You give them an Etch-a-Sketch, you can't do that. So then I'm like, all right, well. My parents weren't watching me, and when that AOL boom hit and we were having I had my own phone line so I could dial up to the internet, and nobody was in my room. My mom didn't know how to use the computer. I'm on that chat, ASL, age, sex, location. That would be the first thing you would chat out.
So many viruses on my mom's computer.
Dude. And then I was like, and then people were giving me I would meet people in a chat room. Who knows how many dudes I talked to that were pretending to be a 15-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine how many dudes in Missouri did I chat with that I thought I was chatting with? I thought I was risen up Livy Dunn, and instead it was Ned in his mom's basement.
People look at catfish now with a lot of that stuff, so they're still finding ways to make people believe they're somebody they're not. So
I watched that a lot, as you would be surprised. And so I watched an episode the other day where they had a guy come in from the Zoom chat. It was a dude in Africa, and his job was to get people to give him money, pretend to be someone and have them kind of wire money over like a sugar daddy. And
you can consider a con artistry job.
And that was it, but he was in a cubicle. It was he was this is, and when he explained, when they eventually got him to break the wall that they all put up when they're caught, and he did eventually was just listen, both my parents died before I was 10. My uncle tried to raise me, but then he died not too long after. So he's somebody offered me to make money this one way, and then I got injured and I couldn't keep up with the production. So then this was the only thing that was left for me to, and you're just you're man, it's we've made a business out of this now, and it's just. And you could get people to send you little bits of money, Venmo in here and there.
Those AI videos really make me mad when their lips look weird because they're trying to make it seem like they're the actual person that's talking. And I'm I know some people who can't tell the difference with this.
I used to play video games, and this was early 2000s, and one of my moms would come in and thought I was watching an NBA game, and the graphics were nowhere near what they are today.
Blocks.
So I could totally believe that. Yeah, I'm exactly. It's an 8-bit Nintendo game, but it's so hard because you just want to believe. Well, we're good. Everybody wants to believe in AIs. What a nightmare those videos are when it's not been a lot of in my feed, a lot of Luka Doncic's videos.
I'm so sad about that. I don't talk about
and
that.
It's just people just want to get angry about stuff. That's why all these things exist, because of the rage bait effect.
Yeah, I feel like because we've had lots of people, and maybe this season we just try, and for even you, because as your kids get older, I feel then we need a pressure meter for technology? Like, one, what's your plan? Like, what are you going to try to do? Like, all right, 5 years old, we get something, like that.
Yeah.
And then eventually then we should have next to it, like the peer pressure meter of just like, then a parent check in and a year after, right? And then just be like, how's that pressure meter? You breaking? Are the kids at school making fun of them yet? Like, what are we doing? It's tough.
And I feel like we were lucky because we were the early inceptors of it. So it wasn't as expansive as it is now. And then because it's introduced so late, at least for me, I had to take a step back and realize I had to get out of it because I was starting to get like consumed by like some of these kids are now, where they're like, oh, I need all the attention, I need all this and all that, and I had to disconnect and deactivate everything for like I think a couple of years, and then I got back into it later once I had like the mental capacity to understand and things like that. But like some of my younger cousins, they would argue in the comments, things like that. It's like, you don't need to do that. This is a stranger. You're never gonna meet them. Just let it go. It's like, but they said it's like they don't know you. They don't know anything about you.
That's really the lesson, even for myself with all of this, is like, that's not real. Like, whatever you're doing there, they're engaging with you to get something out of it. Just like someone who's like, bullying you to get a reaction out of you, because then they just want someone to engage with them, and they don't know how to have healthy engagements in their life. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, I'm looking for just anything, even if it's like bullying a kid because my dad won't hug me, like just something to feel something. And it's unfortunate, but that's the best advice, is to just walk away. And I mean, I think for my daughters, we just got them Chromebooks, and but they're always around us. They're either in the room on the bed with us, or they're in the living room. And so I think as long as they're not cooped up in a bedroom without it, it's like maybe that would be my rule, like no devices in your bedroom. You got to be like in a family room scenario. Because I remember having like, you had the one computer in the house for the whole family.
It's like people drinking at home. Like, it's like, hey, you don't do that alone. All
yeah.
right?
Well,
they would get around us, and you share videos.
That's right.
That's
you put it right in the family. So you got to keep walking by them to see what's on the screen. Like that's what I joked with the thing. I'm like, I didn't meet my wife on the apps. I met her on the Oregon Trail. Like we had the one computer, and they would all gather around so that you could show the women folk that you could provide for them on the trail. It was like, that's just, but it's just now it is. I don't know how we're going to deal with it, but I think I just think about nobody watched me, and I figured it out. And I hope that being a little bit more vigilant with my daughters and making, just having the conversations about when they want to try something. Common sense media, and I've shared this before, is great with if there's an app or there's a program, and you as a parent or an educator want to know if it's legit, because that's the thing. We all think we're doing great for our kids, but is it legit? And they have a section for educators and for parents, and they basically give you the rundown on that app or website and let you know what parents say, what teachers are saying, and kind of rate it almost like a Rotten Tomatoes, but like an educational version for parents.
They let cell phones in schools?
Oh, yeah. But so, yeah. And some schools are BYOD, bring your own device, because if they can't provide, then the kids can bring whatever they have. We have a little shoe rack on the closet door when they walk in that they're supposed to put it in. But then they start lying to you. They start telling you they didn't bring the phone, or their mom took their phone, or they put a fake. Yeah, they put an old iPhone.
Come on, let me get it.
They put an old iPhone in there. They put their old cell phone in there as a burner phone, and then so it's just like, am I really going to take 5 minutes out of my lesson to count every phone and go through the whole deal, have the kid lie? I'm not going to search his bag. They're going to force me to do that because they know their rights or whatever. It's going to be like watching those cop body cam videos. And now all of a sudden I don't get to teach anymore because I'm too busy fighting a fight of cell phones. So like, I just say, if I see it out and it's distracting you, I'm just going to write you up. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just going to go into the system, write it up, and it'll be an infraction. But part of mine's like, you know what? This is I'm give you the rope to hang yourself with, because if you're doing that, you're texting and learning, you're not gonna hit a tree at an intersection, but you're gonna wake up and there's a quiz that day and you don't even know how we got there. You're like, how did I get in this neighborhood? So they're gonna figure it out real quick. But I would say that next year, this is my first year being back in a high school with that. Our middle school, they have to leave it in their locker. They can't even have it out. So I think that's better. I like that. But in the high school, if I teach next year at the high school, I'm going to have to I'm going to have to be a little bit different with them. So it's like it's like when you have pets and plants before you have kids, but more real. Like you get to try these things with these kids for 45 minutes that you now would have to do with your own kids at home. So it's sort of good practice for me. And I'm learning a lot about how they're interacting. So I feel like I'm going to have a better view of what teenagers are like because I'm around them all day for my job. So I'm hopeful that'll give me some better insight. Yeah.
Like, what am I
I'm not feeling good about it. But yeah, that's it. But we can do our best and stay vigilant, but we got to teach our kids to be their own person. And you said it at the beginning. We want them to have a struggle with technology, and not even just the button pushing, but navigating the world and knowing that just like there could be people down an alley you don't want to see, there can be alleys on this dark web that you don't want to go down, and comment sections you don't want to go down.
And I think it's another thing too, and I guess this is more like high level to navigate the social media stuff. If they want to develop a persona on social media and not their actual personality, that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think computer literacy, there's like computer literacy, and then I feel
digital
like what
citizenship
Jay is talking about, it's just like kids who get it too early, and the parents might not just like, they're like, whatever.
Well, they're just, I'm giving them something that's educational.
Yeah.
Like, here, I'm handing you a loaded weapon, and you're not taking the hunter safety course. And that's really what's happening, I think. And it's unfortunate, but I understand it. And I think the kids, to a certain degree, understand it. It's just, you're going to have, we've learned how we've have so many kids now. We've learned how to combat diseases and infections. And so there's just so many more people around that you're always going to have people that are going to test the system. We're going to be the people in that comment section trying to bait you. Because some people that's what they feed off. There's another guy that I troll that I hate. He's called Dom the Troll on TikTok. And this kid just goes around and like abuses cops. And like some cops love him for it. And then he abuses people who are just working. And I'm like, it sends me through a rage because it's just needless. This poor person is making crap money. And then they have to deal with you being a dick coming in, like ordering something that's not on the menu till they're like red in the face, just trying to be nice and do their job. And you're trying to rage bait them so that they lose their cool. And then they're going to go home and have to be nice to their own children after that. Like,
there used to be way worse versions of that where they had they'll say it's a prank, but they would take it over the top in public.
That's what I'm saying.
And stuff like that. I don't watch those videos anymore, but I would imagine it's still pretty bad.
That's it. And then they're monetized off it. So now it's all feeding the beast of it. And now all of a sudden they're like, well, don't hate the player, hate the game. And I'm like, I hate both of you. I hate everybody in this scenario. That's what I do. But yeah, that's, well, hey, we don't have to do that. Instead, they can come follow us and come see our shows. And that's the kind of direction we need to take them because we got a lot of stuff going on. I know I do. You have anything you want to plug or anything coming up, or where can we find you?
You can find me a Light Skin Mike Comedy on Instagram. I'm looking to start a new thing called Black and Off-White Comedy Media. Looking to do skits. I've run my first show in Delaware, the Black and Off-White Comedy Show. That was a pretty good success. Looking to expand on that and do more. And just trying to see what I can do. Like, you don't know what you don't know, and then
just keep grinding. Yeah, so just keep an eye out. We're gonna be seeing a lot more of you, which is awesome. And for me, Jay Yoder Comedy on all the socials, jyodercomedy.com. Got a lot of cool things coming up. We're gonna be on the road a lot in April and May. Look really good, and then it's gonna be summer before I know it. So so give me a follow and don't forget about Drop Tent Media. My daughter, I FaceTimed my daughter right before we started recording. She's like, "Are you at Drop Tent Media Studios?" And I'm like, "Yes, Elise, yeah, I am." So Neil's doing his own thing. Neil was killing it at AC resorts in Atlantic City.
Oh yeah, I'm a regular now.
Yeah,
at the Atlantic
past.
City Comedy Club, which I know I saw you down there. Yeah, you'd done a little thing down there too. It's a fun room.
Dude, it's a great
super
room.
Fun. Yeah. There was an Italian dude doing. It was a TikTok guy.
Okay.
So we had a lot of fun, dude. It was a very interesting stuff. Shout out to Pork Roll, pork chop. Shout out to Pork Chop and Mo Mozzarella.
There you go. I said that.
Shout
Dude, they
out.
bring in huge crowds.
Sold out.
I just did one last night at Soul Joe's for this Officer Audi or Udi. And, dude, this guy charging $30 a person after the show for a meet and greet. $30 a person. So if you're a couple, you're dropping $60 to get a signed photo and a picture with him on stage.
Dang.
Could you imagine?
I'm doing it wrong.
We're doing it wrong.
I'm doing it wrong.
He's teaching all those right-leaning kids, the conservative kids.
I'll tell you what, he had to start. He was, I guess he used to be a police officer, and then he started making videos. He's out of Texas. But I would tell you what, he was a great comic.
Great.
You say what you want. Like,
that's good.
I was very impressed. He actually was a comedian. He had punchlines.
That's all I care about.
So that was cool.
That's great. Go see those folks. We love
but the $30 for someone to come, they already paid money to come see you.
Yeah.
And then they already paid for drinks. They paid for a babysitter. And now you're going to squeeze them for another $30 to meet you? How dare you? That's unless you are like Julia Roberts status, unless you're something where, no, I think that's, I don't know how, I'm not as mad as the rage bait kids, but I'm like, maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know. I'm out there whoring myself out for a photo after giving out like a QR code to my social media. But well, hey, check us all out. Drop Tent, Light Skin Mike Comedy, Jay Yoder, and don't forget about the very gorgeous and absent Albert Davis today. It's our weekend without him, so
I'm gonna hug him so I can take some of his muscles.
that's right.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks. Check us out. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you for listening to Seriously Dad on the Drop 10 Media Network. Like, comment, follow, or subscribe to @SeriouslyDadPod on everything. Find the Seriously Dads on Instagram @AlbertDavisComedy and @JayYoderComedy. Seriously Dad is produced, sound mixed, edited, and art directed by me, James Neal Wood. Go to jameswoodart.com or droptent.com for more.
Seriously, lad.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.